So I'm Stephen Courtney. I'm a specialist domestic violence magistrate looking after the domestic violence courts in Mount Isa, Townsville and Palm Island. My path to the magistracy was a long one. When I left school I wasn't sure what to do, so I had two brothers who were in the police force. So I joined the police force for a short period of time. Then I found myself out in Charleville as a police prosecutor, so I began to study law in Charleville. Then I moved as a police prosecutor to Southport and met some people who worked for the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. So I was still studying law part-time or externally. Started to work at the DPP as an instructing clerk. Worked my way through there from an instructing clerk to a legal officer. I took a Crown Prosecutor's job in Maroochydore in 1997, and in 2001 I left that Crown Prosecutor's job and went to the private bar in Maroochydore, primarily doing District and Supreme Court trials both in Maroochydore and Brisbane and other areas around Queensland, and then was appointed to the magistracy in October of 2017. In looking after the three centres I do, I spread my time between Townsville, Mount Isa and Palm Island. So a typical week would be for me Monday in Townsville, Tuesday, Wednesday in Palm Island, Thursday Mount Isa, Friday back in Townsville, and the following week I don't go to Palm Island. In my mind, the specialist court is not so much what happens inside of court but what happens outside. There's lawyers with a particular interest in matters of domestic violence. All the support networks are outside for perpetrators and also the aggrieved, the ones who have been subjected to domestic violence. So the idea of the domestic violence court, I would have thought, is the court to be the focus and for me to complement what's going on outside, so far as limiting the amount of domestic violence that's currently occurring. One of the things about the domestic violence court is we bring together all the different service providers, so there's a coordinated approach. And again, the aim is to lessen the amount of domestic violence that's occurring. One thing about practising in crime is you try not to judge people, and that most people are decent. They've just made a wrong decision here or there that has ultimately compounded and led to them ultimately doing something catastrophic which has had long-term consequences in their lives. So applying that to the domestic violence court, if we can get some intervention early, I think basically people can do the right thing. Some of them have just lost their way and need a lot of assistance. So I'm quite convinced that if, with appropriate intervention, someone who is the perpetrator of domestic violence can mend their ways. Presiding over a domestic violence court, and I suspect presiding over any court, but in particular domestic violence courts, it's just a draining experience. Every matter we have is important to all the parties involved, and you're trying to do the best you can with the information you have.